I still remember the exact moment the truth hit me. It was a cold November afternoon in Ohio, standing in the cemetery with the wind whipping my black coat, watching my husband's casket being lowered into the ground. Then a woman I'd never seen before stepped forward, placed a single red rose on the coffin, and whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Goodbye, my love. My name is Laura. I'm 58 now, sitting here thinking back on that day 12 years ago, when my whole world cracked open in front of family, friends, and strangers. Before all this, life felt steady. We lived in a little brick ranch house in Akron, white shutters, a maple tree out front that turned fire red every fall. Mark and I had been married 32 years. 2 kids grown and gone. A golden retriever named Buddy who snored at the foot of our bed. Mark worked as a foreman at the rubber plant until he retired early with a bad heart. I was a school secretary, the one who knew every kid's birthday and kept extra snacks in my drawer for the ones who came to school hungry. We went to church on Sundays, grilled burgers on Saturdays, and argued about whose turn it was to take out the trash. Normal. Safe. The kind of life you don't question because it feels like enough. But looking back, there were tiny cracks I ignored. Mark started taking long drives on weekends, saying he just needed to clear his head. His phone would buzz at dinner and he'd silence it quick, muttering about work friends. Some nights he'd come to bed late, smelling faintly of a perfume I didn't wear. Something floral and expensive. I told myself it was nothing. Men get restless after retirement. I didn't want to be the nagging wife. I wanted to believe we were still the couple who slow danced in the kitchen to old Patsy Cline songs. The tension built slow like a headache you hope will go away if you just keep moving. He got quieter. Lost weight. Started wearing the cologne I bought him for Christmas every single day, even to mow the lawn. I found a receipt once in his jacket pocket. Dinner for 2 at a fancy Italian place downtown we'd never been to together. When I asked, he said it was a retirement lunch for a coworker. I nodded and folded laundry, feeling that little twist in my stomach I'd learned to swallow. Then came the heart attack. It happened fast. 1 minute he was raking leaves in the backyard. The next he was on the ground clutching his chest. I screamed his name, ran out in my slippers, called 911 with shaking hands. They revived him once in the ambulance, but at the hospital they said his heart was just too tired. He slipped away that night while I held his hand and told him about the cruise we were supposed to take for our 35th anniversary. The funeral was packed. Mark was well liked, coached Little League back in the day, always ready with a joke. I stood there in the receiving line, numb, accepting hugs and casseroles promises. And that's when she appeared. She was maybe 50, elegant in a tailored black coat, dark hair pulled back smooth, pretty in a way that made you look twice. She walked straight up to the open casket, touched his cheek like it was the most natural thing in the world, and said those words, "Goodbye, my love." The whole room went still. I felt my sister's hand tighten on my arm. I heard myself ask, voice small, "Who are you?" She turned, eyes already red from crying, and said, "I'm Diane. I've been with Mark for 8 years. 8 years. While I was packing his lunches and ironing his shirts and sleeping next to him every night, he had another life 45 minutes away in Cleveland. Another woman who thought she was saying goodbye to her partner. She even showed me pictures later, vacations in Florida, Christmas mornings, a dog they shared custody of. All while he came home to me and kissed me goodnight. The days after the funeral blurred. People whispered. Some stopped inviting me to things. My daughter cried and said she hated her father. My son punched a hole in his apartment wall. I sat in our bedroom staring at his side of the closet, the flannel shirt still smelling like him, wondering how I'd missed it, how stupid I'd been, how many lies I'd helped him tell without knowing. Diane reached out once through a mutual friend. She wanted to talk. I said yes because I needed answers more than I needed to hate her. We met at a coffee shop, 2 women in black coats looking like widows. She told me Mark said he was separated, living with a cousin while we worked things out. She had no idea I existed either. We cried together over burnt coffee, 2 fools who loved the same complicated man. Took years to climb out of that hole. I sold the house, couldn't walk past his recliner without feeling sick. Moved into a little apartment downtown with windows that actually open. Started taking watercolor classes at the community center on Tuesday nights. Made new friends who didn't know the old story. Some days the anger still flares up hot and fast, But most days it's just a sad, quiet ache. Here's what I learned, what I want to say to every woman watching this alone tonight with the sound low so you don't wake anybody. You don't have to be perfect to deserve the truth. And you don't have to stay small to keep someone from leaving. I spent decades making myself easy to love. Quiet complaints, quick forgiveness, always putting his needs first, and it didn't protect me from heartbreak. If anything, it made it easier for him to hide. These days I speak up faster. I ask the hard questions. I trust my gut when something feels off. And I've learned that real love doesn't make you ignore your own doubts. It makes you feel safe enough to voice them. I'll never get those years back. I'll never fully understand why he needed both of us. But I got something else. A wider heart, a sharper eye, and the quiet strength to build a life that's truly mine. So if you're lying there wondering if you're imagining things, if you're overreacting, listen to that little voice. You deserve answers. You deserve honesty. And no matter what you find, you are strong enough to walk through it and come out standing, like I did, one ordinary brave day at a time. Thank you for listening. If this touched you, give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your hearts, ladies.